Hi, I'm John Kauffman with Kauffman Wood Kreations. And this massive barn I created for a good friend of mine, and it's going to Beardford, South Dakota for Jed Olbertson. Great friend of mine was in my wedding. Anyway, this is their barn on their farm, and his dad was raised with this barn. This barn was built in the 1920s, and the tornado took it in 1949. The barn now has vertical siding, but I put the original horizontal siding back on it. This barn is pretty mammoth. It measures 33¼ inches wide. Down on the bottom it's 30 inches. It is, I think, 40 inches tall. Not, yeah, up to the points is, but it's 32 up to the brow. And then from the brow it's another, well, it's 63/4 inches, but then it's almost 9 inches to the point. And this one here is fully shingled. As you can see, this barn has the barn bats on it. This barn here, of course, they got the big barn door. It's fairly close to scale, but if I had to do a scale, it needs to be another foot longer and a little bit more wider, and you gotta have room in your house for it. So anyway, this is what I came up with for Jed and Olbertson. Anyway, I painted the bottom white, and this is the foundation was poured. This is the only part that didn't get blown away by the tornado. But anyway, this is recreated to look like cement, poured foundation, and then the horizontal siding is put on there. And actually, underneath this horizontal siding, or the bats, I just didn't lay a 1/4 inch piece of plywood. It's actually got 1 by 1/4 inch pieces tacked onto a 1/2 inch piece that's all the way around, if you can understand what I'm saying. All the trim pieces are tacked onto, and there's real windows in it, panes in it. This barn here opens up on both sides. This is probably the best roof I've ever had. I went and got $40 sheet plywood, and it's pretty straight stuff, and it come together really well. Obviously, it's shingled, piano hinges. This one here had 2 cupolas on it on the original barn, and on this one here I've got to dust it, number 1. But anyway, I've got the ridge cap on, which is tin, and of course we got the lightning rods, and we got the little blue balls like on the real lightning rods, like you see on the thing. As you can see, this had 4 doors coming into it. The hay doors. Again, the barn bats. These doors here, if Jody can, I actually, if you can look, you can see that I made each one of these. I didn't just cut them out of plywood. This one here I recreated to make it look like a real barn door, because they got each individual board on there, kind of stick built. We'll let the horse kind of hang out there. Here he goes. This has got a real hinge on it. The hinge is a little bit big, but I wanted to make sure these never busted on Jed. It took me a day to just shingle this barn, make all the grooves and cut them all out. Let's get this side over here, Joey. As you can see, got bats on here, and then there's a door on this side, and then like I said, it's and then on the original barn, the siding only went that far up, I suppose 8 feet, then the rest of it, but I recreated that stop of the boards, and I imagine that's as long as the boards they could have got at the time or whatever. Come on around this side, Joey. Why don't you walk around the other way? This barn here has a hay mow in it. Let's shut this door up here. This here is a door to open up, and then you put an elevator up here, and then you fill the oats bins. This hay mow has oats bins in it. The original old barn had a hay mow in it, but when they rebuilt the barn back, they didn't put the hay mow in it, and they actually shrunk down the barn height-wise, because they went from loose hay to square bales, and they just didn't need that much more room, because square bales obviously took less space up than loose hay. But this comes all the way out, and if you can see, it's got the slides, let the grain out. It's got ladders to come up and go inside. Just stay right there, dude. This barn has lights in it too. I'm gonna take the hay mow out, and Jody can see that. These are cut specifically for this barn here. I use Christmas lights. I just had a hard time finding, it's too expensive to go with like the DC lights from like Radio Shack or something like that. This side here was the horse side. These guys had 2x12 boards for the stalls. So when the horses kicked it, they didn't kick through it. Had a ladder going up to the hay mow. Inside here, if Jody can get there, this is where the Jed's great-grandpa had her grandfather had a shop in there. Back in the old days, they spent about 50% of their time in the big barn. And these two are just feed rooms. That's where the oats falls down into, and they would have stored bag feed in there or whatever mineral. As you can see, they all got. Oh, my guy's falling down. Here, I put the animals in. You can see, but this here, they all have stalls in it, and they can put like 2 horses per stall. But here, I got some colts with it and little ponies. This was a half a stall. This is exactly like the inside of the Albertson's family barn. There's a window on this side coming here, and there's a window there, and there's a door coming out, and there's a door going to each feed room too. And then you can see there's doors that they went in and out for the horses. The horses probably came in this door, and they came in this door for that, and they probably just used this one to walk in and out to the house. I covered made all like the beams going across the barn, recreated that. This was the wall in the middle, just like the real barn, and then here's the cow side. As you can see, it had gutters here, but now these are only 1x12s. Or they cheapened it up a little bit, but anyway, they only had 1x12s. I just kind of want to say that because that's just the way the old guys did to save a little bit of money. And it's basically the same type of stall, but and then, like I said, you got a feeder for them all, and they went outside and drank. After they got done milking these, there were 2 cows for stanchion, and on this side they also had a ladder going up to the hay mow. Here's another neat feature. All I do with all my barns is I make the door open, the hay mow door open and shut. Then you pull the rope. If you can see this, pull that rope, and the door goes shut. As you can see, there's windows. Like I said before, come back across here, you can see the rope, you can see the light all the way up here. And here was the ladder that they walked up, when they filled up the hay, and you can go right up through here, and you can stand, and I think that was made to trip back in the day when they had loose hay, or I almost positive they probably went down through the bottom to pull the door shut with or they had more than one guy, but anyway, there was something to stand on up there I imagine, to trip the hay. As you can see, I make these pretty darn close to being real. Also, I stain the inside of these barns. That makes it a lot nicer. This is all stained, and then you can see I put an edge so you don't see the side of the plywood that's cut. Hopefully, I'll get this out to Jed soon. As you can see, I recreated the drip cap on this. Jody can get that right here where my hand's on. This is the drip cap. You know, when the rain come out, it'd come a little bit out from the barn. But I'm pretty proud of this barn. It's probably one of the biggest and tallest barns I've ever made, the longest and tallest. Like I said, I found some decent plywood, and then I didn't get too bad of a curve to fight me against. And I used 1-inch hook and eyes. As you get the cupolas up here, I'm pretty proud of them. And, well, that's Jed's barn in a nutshell, I guess. Pretty proud of it. Pretty good piece. Thanks, Jed, for letting me do it. I'm John Kauffman with Kauffman Kreations. Having a great day.